And welcome once again to As the Reel Turns, your place for all things movie and television. And like always, we've got another great show for you lined up today. We are doing the third part or section, whatever you want to call it, of our summer, all completely devoted to Star Trek. Yes, our summer completely devoted to Star Trek. It has been a long run, or as Enterprise would call it, it's been a long road from getting from there to here to there. We've done everything from the classic series, from original up to Enterprise. We've done all 13 films. And now this third chapter, we are going to do the new Trek. The controversial Trek. The Trek that makes fans say, what the... Anyway, and we've got a wonderful Trek fan to talk about it with. We've got my good friend, Timothy.
Hello again.
Timothy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You have been the only person here to talk about Star Trek all the way through, because we've had...
I'm sorry.
No, that's a good thing. We've had you and Joe, we've had you and Christy, but now it's just you and me, which is fine, which is totally fine. And we're going to talk about new Trek today. Mm-hmm. Now... Like I said there, new Trek, which is what, it's layman's terms, I guess you'd call it, has been around since like 2017-ish, is when the first one started, yeah. And when the rebooted movies came out, the Kelvin timeline with Chris Pine and all those guys, the producers of that, I mentioned when we talked about the reboots, Robert Orci and Alex Kurtzman. They were the guys behind it, sort of. And they kind of took on the new Roddenberry, Rick Berman title of, the new crowning Star Trek people. Yep. They also had their turn in television. They did a show called Scorpion, which was really, really good. Mm-hmm. But in 2017, I think that's the first year, and this is after all three reboot films, they said, Star Trek's back. It's back on TV. And we said, oh boy. And the first thing they said, yeah, it's going to be a prequel. Okay, first of all, did you not learn your lesson with Enterprise? People get worried with prequels.
Go back and watch the episode about the original Trek series.
Yeah.
I still don't think Enterprise was that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad,
yeah.
No. But, I mean, when it first premiered, fans were questionable about it.
It wasn't what fans were expecting, and it wasn't really what fans were promised.
Right. So that's their first thing. And then they just said it's going to be on at the time, the CBS All Access streaming service. Okay, you just cut your audience in half here. Some of us don't want to pay for that. But they've put the first episode on television. And this first new Trek series, is a lovely show called Star Trek Discovery. Let's play the intro there. So, okay, this is hard.
So this is your favorite of the new ones?
This is my favorite show ever.
Yes.
This is going to be harder than maybe even Star Trek 5. That's pretty hard. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, I'll be honest. New Trek I'm not only as comfortable with, but not as familiar with. But here's what I know about Star Trek Discovery. First of all, it's not really focused on the captain. I mean, Star Trek is always an ensemble cast, but we have it kind of focused on the first officer. Sometimes. This woman named Michael Burnham, played by, I'm gonna say her name wrong, Sonequa Martin Green?
Sure, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. And she is aboard the Starship Discovery eventually, after being on the Starship some name.
She, and I'm also not really up on the new shows.
Yeah.
I did, because like you said, don't have CBS streaming, so I got them all on DVD.
Sure.
Watched them all on DVD, but I've only seen them each once.
Yeah.
As I recall, Michael had actually, I think, been either drummed out of Starfleet or was in prison, or so basically she was a huge black mark. Nobody wanted to work with her.
Right. And I think that the other thing here is that her captain is blanking on the name, but Michelle Yeoh. She's been in a bunch of things. She was a Bond girl with Pierce Brosnan, Tomorrow Never Dies, and she serves aboard the USS Discovery, and a lot of interesting characters. We have like a woman with like some cybernetic parts in her face. We have Saru, a Kelpian, I believe is his race.
That's Doug Jones.
Doug
right?
Jones
from Hellboy. Is that the same Doug Jones?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have kind of this strange captain of the Discovery, Jason Isaacs, who has been also in a bunch of stuff, Harry Potter, stuff like that.
Yep.
We Kelpians have a defining trait hardwired into our DNA. Empathy. I can feel the sphere reaching out, trying to share something before it expires.
The sphere is 100,000 years old.
Captain Georgiou, welcome to the Enterprise.
Orange? Really? Yeah.
Now, Michael Burnham, why couldn't we call her Michelle? No, that's a nitpick, sorry. She is, there are many flaws with this, because for me anyway, the timestamp we're here is that they're supposed to be 10 years before Kirk and crew. From what they said, written in their first couple seasons. We'll get to where they go. Answer me this: if this is supposed to be 10 years before Kirk, what's with the outfits? What's with the touch screens? What's going on here? What is Discovery trying to do in this first 2 seasons? Let's not go to where they go first. After.
One thing that I heard, through the internet gestalt and what have you, don't have any place that I can say, here's my source.
Right.
But there's some confusion, doubt, argument, both with definitely among the fans and possibly amongst the production staff themselves, as to which, if any, timeline this show belongs to.
Right.
Is it part of the original series? Is it part of the Kelvinverse? Is it its own universe?
Yeah.
There are things, like you were saying, that might indicate that it is part of the original universe, especially some things that get connected in other series later on. I would also be fine if this were its own universe, but again, there are some hints that something comes up, and I'll address it when we get to Strange New Worlds, that I think is the answer to all of those questions, but I'll save it for then. Myself, the big problem I had is that Michael, even in the pre-advertisements, is Spock's sister.
Yes.
And it's like, Spock doesn't have a sister. Everyone knows Spock doesn't have a sister.
He doesn't even have a half brother.
I know it's never come up before, but in
Love Cybok.
yes. Oh, let's not even go there. But again, Spock never mentioned Sybok until it happened to come up.
True.
Spock never mentioned Michael till it happened to come up.
You have experienced a series of events in which both emotion and logic have failed you. In my experience of this, it is uncomfortable.
Very. What you said about me always finding a way to blame myself. You are right. And I brought my guilt into your home. I'm sorry.
You were a child. With a child's understanding of an event that even adults would struggle to comprehend. However, if it will ease your suffering, I accept your apology.
Thank you for coming to talk to me. It was unexpected and helpful.
And Michael, for those who haven't seen the series, is not actually his sister, isn't related to him at all.
No.
But like we kind of said during the movies, there's kind of a little bit of Saavik in there, in that Spock finds her abandoned on a planet. Her parents are dead, no one to raise her, and you know the classic outsider who feels he has no home, seeing this actual orphan, picks her up, takes her back to mom and dad, and says, you know, take care of her for me.
Right. And I mean, you know, we have a new Spock actor, Ethan Peck, I believe his name is. And the first time we see him, he kind of looks like Mirror Spock, honestly. He has a full beard and everything. But, you know, the first 2 seasons of the show were very shaky ground for fans, and understandably so. But they kind of gained maybe a little bit when they jumped into their 3rd season. The Discovery itself is kind of a unique ship. They have like a very strange circular type of emotion in the saucer section, and they have a spore drive or something like that.
Yeah, and that is...
It goes like this or something like that?
Yeah, that is both a mark in its favor and a mark against it.
Of course.
In my book.
Sensors indicate exhaustion.
Again, you had the Discovery is an experimental ship, like you say, has a spore drive. Kind of too much to get into in this. Go watch the show, and they'll explain what a spore drive is. But the point is, it was an experimental drive that was supposed to be faster, better, easier. Well, maybe not easier than warp drive. Okay, fine, cool. How come this has never been mentioned before either?
Yep.
Point in favor, point against. Like you said, new people bringing new ideas to a show, and a show that's been on as long as Star Trek in all its iterations, you need new ideas.
Of course.
And some of them are going to stick to the wall, and some of them are just going to stink.
That is for sure. I mean, they tried to reel in some fans, you know, because I think there's like an episode with the Guardian Forever. They try to bring that back.
That was brilliant.
That was brilliant?
That was brilliant. And I want to stop you.
Okay.
The reveal on that, I mean, because I'd been watching the series, and the episode where the Guardian comes back, first time we've seen the Guardian in 50 years, 60 years. Yeah. I didn't see it coming. And it takes a lot to surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, okay, you know, so yeah, so we see the Guardian of her. We won't tell you when or where.
You really got to get yourself up to speed with modern technology.
Hey, you all right?
What did you do to me? What day is this?
Oh, good question. The winds are a-shiftin', it seems.
Who are you?
Carl, we're old friends, remember?
What are you?
Okay.
He sent me back to Tara. I was there for months.
Okay, you're disoriented, that's all. You've been right here.
Was any of it real? Tell me.
The answer to that is on your wrist, Emperor.
Tara, 3 months worth of bio data points in here.
That's impossible. You were unconscious for less than a minute. If she really went back, then who's been here with us for this past minute?
We have so many selves. There's a version of you that's breathing your last breath in a mirror universe. But that version doesn't fit so well anymore, does it?
I thought you said going through the door would help her.
Can't just live in doorways.
Who are you? Really?
Really?
I am the guardian of forever.
And then something does happen in those 3rd to 5th seasons. It lasted 5 seasons. They go like to like the 31st century or something like that.
Something like that.
And I mean that.
Black alert, please.
Oh, shit. Hey, you didn't tell me about the spinning pod, huh?
Coordinates relative to galactic core confirmed. Initiating multiphasic scans and updating astrometric data.
Approaching visual range, sir. There she is.
Increase magnification, please. Mr. Reese, what are those arrays?
They seem to be some form of advanced force field generator.
Sir, 2 vessels approaching from Earth's orbit.
They do not bear Starfleet registries.
Shields up, red alert.
Sir, we're being hailed.
Put them through.
A view screen. How quaint. I am Captain Doyer of the United Earth Defense Force. Your vessel has violated regulations C-1922 and F-031 of the UE Charter by reaching Earth's perimeter. Leave immediately. You are not welcome here.
That picked up some stuff, so it again dives into what you said. Like, what timeline are they in?
Yes, and we get to see an extensive deep dive into the mirror universe.
Yes, yep, Michelle Yeoh's character.
Yeah, in the first couple of
Incoming transmission. It's the Emperor.
Captain Michael Burnham. You've been away too long. Though I can't say the same for your prisoner. I do not appreciate having to walk my way across the quadrant to clean up your untended mess. When I give an order, I do not expect to be ignored. Don't you bow before your emperor?
Going back to what you were just saying, I appreciated their effort. I have to go back and watch again to see whether I liked what they did in the future, but I appreciate their effort because one of the foundational themes of Star Trek, and we mentioned this in another one of your episodes, is this theme of hope. Everything's going to work out. Humanity will survive. But a lot of people don't like that. They don't feel that it's real to life, that it's very, very fantasy, very fairy tale. They arrive in the future and find out that the Federation has collapsed.
Yes, that's right.
They don't have communication anymore. The long-range communication buoys are gone. There are places of the galaxy that have either never heard of the Federation or think it's a myth or a legend.
Yeah.
And, and it's kind of like, okay, can we pick up the pieces and rebuild what we once had? And I don't think they ever actually answer that question, which again, I think is a good move.
Right. I mean, you always, in the past couple episodes, you've said you're the apologist in many things. Well, I'm going to be brutally honest here, and folks, I want you to know that we each have our own opinions of things, so I want you to completely make your own, but I am not going to be an apologist. Discovery, I've always said Star Trek Discovery, if it had to have a hidden subtitle below the word Discovery, this is going to hurt Discovery, I'm sorry. It's called Star Trek The Middle Finger, and I'll tell you why. Because who wants to see these people running around the hallways with shirts that read disco? Are you going to a disco? I don't think so. You do so many weird things with your outfits and your touchscreens, like I said. You're supposed to be before Kirk. I want to see some buttons on those panels and consoles. And yeah, Spock's sister, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that's a big no-go. And your title sequence is stupid. There's my 2 cents. In my humble opinion, I wouldn't recommend Discovery. But hey,
I'll go this far. Okay. It's not necessary to have seen any of Discovery to enjoy any of the other new shows. You will not get lost.
Yes, I agree.
They do make a couple references back to Discovery, but it's not anything so so deep a reference that if you haven't seen Discovery, you're going to wonder what's going on. It's no, okay.
Yeah. The thing I will say is, it's just not. It's not my favorite. It's not fantastic.
It was a good try.
It was a try.
Yeah.
It was a try. But hey, 5 seasons. I mean, somebody out there was bound to like it, I guess. So, the first jump in the ocean there for Kurtzman and Orchie or whatever,
Orgy?
Not that, no. Orchie, I think. Not the greatest swim in the ocean, for me anyway. But their second endeavor, oh boy, 10 times better in my book. Because they said, okay, whoa. We brought back Spock, but let's see if we can bring back some more characters played by their old actors. At a convention one time, Patrick Stewart walks out on stage after being introduced by Alex Kurtzman, and he's addressing the fans, and he says, "The one thing I want you all to know right now is that Jean-Luc Picard is back." And he indeed was back in his own new show, Star Trek Picard. Star Trek Picard. This, to me, this is a little bit better. It's a step in the right direction. You take Patrick Stewart reprising his role of Jean-Luc Picard, that we haven't seen him and Picard since 2002's Nemesis. And that is the first thing I love about this show, is that they pick up pretty much, fast forward a few years, but they pick up right after Nemesis. We see what's going on with our next generation crew. Picard himself, it's kind of an interesting story. He's, I guess, retired, you could call it, in his vineyard in France. And he's getting along with some Romulans because he had some dealings with Romulans.
Getting along, he has them as his house staff.
Well, that's, yeah. And he had almost something to do with what happened in Star Trek 2009 with the explosion of Romulus, something potentially along those lines. But he meets this very interesting girl, Sochi, I think her name was. And there he is. Welcome back, Jean-Luc. And he meets her, and he realizes something is odd about her. Something is interesting. Well, we find out that she's actually has some android DNA from a very particular android, our good friend Data. So the mission of the first season is to go off and find what her secret is. And along the way, we find out what's going on with this Romulan thing. We find out some stuff about, I guess you could call it like a segregation type of similarity between humans and androids, or synthetics, as they call them, I think, synthetics.
Every other Tri-High station in the yard gets off first contact day. Not us. What did we do wrong?
To have a skeleton crew, you have to have skeletons.
No.
Dude creeps me out.
Hey, he can hear you.
And?
Alert. Multiple synthetic labor units have been compromised.
Hey, get away from there!
Deflector shields down in all sectors of Utopia, Planitia. Repeat. Security alert. Multiple synthetic...
We have some Borg stuff where Hugh from the Next Generation, he has a program trying to bring people who were turned into Borgs, but turning them back into their regular respective species. And
I really don't know what to say, Dr. Asha. Your work here has always been excellent, but speaking to a nameless in his own language.
along the way, we also get cameos from like Jonathan Frakes, Marina Sirtis.
Dad!
What?
Come out here!
Stop yelling!
It's Jean-Luc Picard!
Pause music. Say again!
Hello, Will.
Oh, man! Oh.
Oh. You need a place to hide out.
Shields up! Perimeter scans to max.
We've had a little trouble around here lately with the Xinti.
Best to run anti-cloaking scans, too.
Romulans?
Mm-hmm.
Initiate anti-cloaking scans. At time you were flying off to Romulus to plan the great supernova rescue. Do you remember what I said?
So you want to be ass-deep in Romulans for the rest of your life?
I believe I also reminded you of Newton's fourth law of thermodynamics.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
I told Kestra to show your friend how to find the shower.
Thank you.
She's a friend.
Soji. She appears fully human. Her face, her voice, her body language all express clear emotion. The poor thing seems traumatized.
But?
I sense nothing. I can't read her.
I think I'm in over my head. When I left Earth, I had a plan, I had a ship, I even had a crew of sorts. Now I've lost them all. My plan turns out to be, well, half a plan at best, and the girl's life is still in danger.
Well, it sounds like you need a new plan.
One that starts with a nap. You're exhausted. You can lie down in Thad's room and rest while Will makes us dinner.
Pizza in the wood-fired oven. Tomato and basil from our garden. Behold, a wild girl of the woods. Nicely done.
You cut out the venom sac.
Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan becomes reprises the role of 7 of 9.
Got him.
You owe me a ship, Picard.
And then Brent Spiner again as Data. The second season also comes along, and we have more going on with Q now.
Mon capitaine, how I've missed you.
No.
Oh dear, you're a bit older than I imagined. Let me catch up. There, now we're even.
Q. God damn Q.
Q comes back.
And also, and I think it's in first season as part of this quest.
Yes, that's a good word, quest.
Picard kind of puts together a new crew
Yeah.
of his own.
Yes.
Of outsiders, has-beens, once-weres, people that basically need, well, because Starfleet wasn't going to help him.
No.
And so he gets together people that probably should not be on the same crew together. But one of the things that Picard as a show, not necessarily Picard as a character, although he does help a lot, is they slowly, naturally, and believably start to knit together first as a crew and then kind of like a surrogate family.
Yeah.
Can we go already?
Yes, fine. Engage.
Yes, and we got like Captain Rios, Dr. Girardi, who has a secret to tell in the second season. Raffi, who's kind of like an outlaw type of a thing, and then Seven. I thought this was a great show. I mean, we had a lot of comebacks to Next Generation. We had even going so far, like I said, picking up from Nemesis, bringing Blue Skies back into the picture.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies. I see bluebirds singing their song. Nothing but blue.
See? And raise.
Paul, I will take 2, please.
It says a great deal about the mind of Commander Data, that looking at the human race with all its violence and corruption and willful ignorance, he could still see kindness, the immense curiosity and greatness of spirit. And he wanted, more than anything else, to be part of that. To be a part of the human family.
Nothing but
We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with a sleep.
The song, which was great. As a whole, and you know, the third season is really when it started to like throw you into Reference City, because the whole Next Generation cast came back. A lot of characters from other series in Next Gen came back.
This me would rather be no place else in the universe.
Join us.
It's been a long time since we all sat around the table like this.
Too long, really, by far.
I am so grateful to be here. Hardship may have brought me here, but I want you all to know that there wasn't a day all those years that I didn't miss all of you.
And we missed you too. I even found myself talking to you on my darkest days. Well, on my happiest ones too. It turns out you give really good advice even when you're not there, so you were always in my heart when it mattered.
I have slaughtered countless enemies over the years and considered sending their heads to all of you. But I was advised that that was passive-aggressive.
All that matters is that we are together once more. Because I need you. All of you.
It was a whole
thing.
Even going as far as, we got the crew, we might as well bring the old ship out.
Yep.
Hi, Enterprise.
Computer, lights?
We're your family.
Jack, Elandra, Sydney, they're our family too.
Jean-Luc, wherever you go, we go.
Thank you, number one. Stations, please.
All systems online, Captain.
Weapons are ready, although they are limited.
Well, at least we got him. If we encounter the Borg, we're gonna need to run, shoot, or hide. So, Geordi, we'll need every bit of power you can get to those old shields.
Make it so.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Data, set a direct course for Earth, maximum warp.
Aye, Captain. Course laid in, sir. She's ready.
Engage.
So what do you think of Picard?
I actually quite liked it,
Yes.
and again, all the new shows, kind of iffy going
Yeah.
in. What are they going to do? But you know, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
How bad can it be? I mean, if the man wanted to sit down and read the dictionary for an hour, we would probably watch.
Oh yes.
But
A is for.
Yes. No, but I mentioned a part of it, you know, the family dynamic, the quest, and not everyone gets along.
No.
Certainly not at the beginning. Season 2 comes up, and I think they've kind of split up a little bit and have to come back together again. One thing I really liked, I mentioned in the episode about the original series,
Yeah.
I was always disappointed that Voyager didn't have a denouement, didn't tell you what happened to people after they got back.
Yes.
Here, we find out what happened to 7 of 9.
Yeah.
I have a friend, a very good friend, who hates 7 of 9. Stopped watching Voyager when she came on board.
Oh, jeez.
And he has a point that, you know, if a show needs to bring on, sorry, Jerry, needs to bring on eye candy to get ratings.
Well, true, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but Jerry Ryan, as Voyager went on, really developed the role of 7 of 9 and does a really good job here. By the time we see her here, she's a fully integrated character, and I use that word advisedly. She's come to peace with her Borg history, her human history, and in a way that Spock never did, doesn't see a conflict anymore. She's no longer Borg or human. She's like, no, I am 7.
Yeah. In fact, on the 3rd season, she's the first officer on this new Titan ship, the USS Titan, and the captain wants to call her by her human name, and she's like, no, I want to be called Commander 7 or whatever.
Yes.
They did make some interesting character decisions with her.
Yeah.
That, you know, when I first saw them, I said, whoa, 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 I don't remember that character development in Voyager.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever. And, you know, the 2nd season, they did some really cool stuff. I mean, they did time travel. Star Trek's never done that.
No, never.
Q, I like his inclusion.
Yeah, Q, like you say, has a conclusion.
Yep.
Not just him, but the continuum.
Yep.
All right, spoiler alert. You have 3, 2, 1. We get to see, finally, what happened to Wesley.
Ah, yes.
And for those who hate Wesley, it is not a bad conclusion.
I love Wes.
And it ties back in, again, trying not to give spoilers, to a loose thread left over from the original series.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Swear to God, if this is another one of your games, Q.
No. No. I can assure you we are very different. Hello, Corey.
And you are
That's a very long and very complicated story.
Honestly, I've got nothing pressing.
Okay. A long time ago, I was known as Wesley Crusher. But now, I am a traveler of all of space and time.
You're kidding, right?
The last time I told a joke, I inadvertently changed a century's worth of history. So I work really hard to not be misunderstood.
This a recruitment speech?
I'm not done. The second, that path leads to everything else. And it offers a chance to give your life purpose and meaning. But I cannot guarantee your safety. Okay, that's it. That was the recruitment speech.
I've never been safe.
Welcome to the Travelers.
Yes, it does. It was a little bit of a jump of the shark moment, but they needed a distraction. I like Dr. Girardi's musical number in the time travel bit. That was kind of fun.
Quick, now we can go.
We're riding with the shadows of the night. Baby, take my hand, you'll be alright. Surrender all your dreams to me tonight. They'll come true in the end. Oh, girl, it's a cold world when you keep it all to yourself. Now you can't hide on the inside all the pain you've ever felt. Ransom my heart, but baby, don't look back, 'cause we've got nobody else. We're running with the shadows of the night. Baby, take my hand, you'll be alright. Surrender all your dreams to me tonight. They'll come true in the
Yeah.
Great voice.
And I think it was part of that series that we find out more about Picard's personal history and a deep, dark secret that, again, I've only seen the series once, that I think he had partially or mostly repressed.
Yes.
So with Picard is not entirely the person we thought he was.
Exactly, yeah. And I will say one of my favorite moments was from the first season where he does reunite with Riker and Troy, that whole bit on...
At which point, I want to nitpick a little, you said takes place right after, because Riker and Troy have a couple of kids.
Yeah,
who are, what, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. They're certainly past toddler age.
Yeah,
maybe one of them.
Well, one we won't talk about, and then the other, spoiler, and the other I think she might be teenager, maybe?
Maybe.
I think
maybe.
So, I mean...
Yeah.
Right
But still,
after,
yeah.
right after is a stretch
a
term,
loose term,
but you know they pick it up in the general sense for the characters. You know, Nemesis happened.
Yes.
We're moving on. Here's what happened next. And I think the third season is great. You know, having everybody come back, and I think especially on like Worf, I think the makeup is good. How they aged him and stuff like that, but. I feel like, especially for the characters that we learned about in seasons 1 and 2, Girardi there, do we dare say what happened?
It's up to you. It's your show.
I mean, okay, she has a run-in with the Borg. That's all we'll say.
Stand down. Stand down! That's an order. Let her proceed. I once told a dear friend what that song meant to me. While I don't have time to teach you the words, I believe that she has had 400 years to consider them. Haven't you, Doctor?
But you know, Rios and Raffi and Seven appear in the third season. But you know, Rios and Raffi and Jurati and all, and even there was I call him the Romulan ninja. They all kind of got sidetracked or even died. I mean, you know, the original cast kind of took over. I felt that was a little unfair, but
yeah, I can see it, especially like you say, when the original cast all got together. Yes, they definitely took over the show.
Yeah, but I like how one of LeVar Burton's daughters plays one of the officers on the Titan. I didn't know that, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Or, no, actually, yeah. I think he plays one of his own daughters, which is kind of. She plays one of his own daughters, which is kind of nice. So, yeah.
Data gets to finish his limerick.
Yes, yes,
but
he does.
Not in the broadcast.
No.
In one of the outtakes in the special features, he actually gets to finish the limerick, which is why it was not in the broadcast version.
But really, it was such a good show, and there are so many good moments.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of comebacks, especially in that third season, especially when they're on that station.
Yeah.
You know, we got like Tribbles, we got somebody there maybe.
What exactly are they storing here?
Many of Section 31's most nefarious table scraps, it would seem.
Section 31.
Critical Division of Starfleet Intelligence.
Yeah, I know who they are. I just didn't know this is where they were hiding all the good stuff.
Another captain, maybe, and a lot of, you know, we get to see a lot of aliens also that we haven't seen in a while. We get to see some Ferengis, we get to see some Andorians, we get to see, you know, all this type of stuff. And you know, you look at Worf in Star Trek Picard, and then you look at the Klingons in Star Trek Discovery. Sorry, I'm going to go back to my Discovery rant. Klingons are not supposed to be look like dried up blueberries, people. Moving on.
And going back to the earlier comment about what timeline, personally, whether it's true or not, I'm comfortable with and think it makes very good sense to say that Picard is part of the original timeline.
Yes, I agree.
Because it just makes such a nice capstone to the next generation.
Of course,
so
yeah.
whether it's canon or not, in my book, Picard is part of the original timeline.
I give it a check mark as well, for sure. And so if you're a Next Generation fan out there, I think Picard is definitely a great show for you to watch. I mean, I got a little magnet here. Look at this promotional poster here. We got like a vineyard going on of this and the Star Trek emblem. That was so cool. I loved that. So yeah, definitely check out Star Trek Picard. It is a nice, like you said, capstone to Next Generation, and get to see some old friends. That's the best part. See some old friends. And I love how Brent Spiner continued to play some Soongs as well. That was great.
Yes.
So we talked about, when we talked about the original classic series, the real official second chapter of Star Trek is the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, okay, Star Trek animation, you know, we talked about how, like, oh, we moved its head. He moved. But the stories weren't too bad.
Weren't too bad.
Weren't too bad, yeah. Orchie and Kurtzman there said, well, the animated series, people remember it. They didn't say they liked it or not, but they remember it. What if we did another animated show? And I said, You
No,
got it.
What If already has an animated show?
Well, yeah, that's true. Very true. Very good. What if we did another Star Trek?
Okay, there you go.
And, you know, we will do this, not only we'll do it on a comical take. And I said, okay. There was even, if you're a Voyager fan, you remember an episode called Voyager episode called Lower Decks, which featured some, you know, lower people on Voyager doing their maintenance checks and then having dinner and stuff like that together, and their life on Voyager. Imagine that as a series. Imagine that as an animated series.
But not on Voyager.
Not on Voyager. Imagine that as a animated series that likes to push the envelope. This is Star Trek Lower Decks. All right. You're going to see straight from the intro here what this show is going for. You know, they make it look like a classic Star Trek animated show. Oh, no, the asteroids are hitting the ship. See what they did there? Ha ha. Oh. All right, so like I said, I was totally on board for the premise of this show. I thought this was a great idea. I thought it was clever. Oh, you see they skimmed the iceberg there? That's funny. So it basically centers around these crew members on board the USS Cerritos, I believe the ship is called, and their daily lives on the ship and all the comical shenanigans they get into. The good thing about this show is that it's animation. We haven't seen an animated Star Trek since 1974. Yeah, it's funny, there's a worm on it, haha. The only problem here is that, like I said, they push the envelope. They like to, you know, put their characters in interesting situations. You thought decon was bad. And although it's bleeped, they like to have them swear, oh, it's so funny. If you're fans of adult animation out there, you might know of a show called Rick and Morty. This is Star Trek's answer to that. The animation style...
What was the question?
But yeah, that's a good answer right there. Even the animation style, I swear, is very similar to it. Not that I would ever watch Rick and Morty, absolutely not. But Timothy, like I said, it's animation, so its plus sides are they can bring back whoever they want and draw them young. Like they've brought back Quark, Q, Tom Paris, you name it, they probably did it.
Sorry I didn't win over your friends.
Oh, please, even better. Now they're scared of you.
Oh, shh, she's looking, don't look.
One riser colada and a mind melt. Mariner. You'd better have a stack of latinum down there.
Nope, but I do have a copy of that hologram with your head on Kira's body.
Impossible! I erased that!
How about we clear my tab? Unless you're not afraid of Kira seeing this.
Mariner, I was wondering when you'd show up. Are you guys telling war stories?
I was just clearing her tab for old time's sake.
What is on that chip? No, give that to me. Give it to me.
Honestly, this is fine with me. Knowing things means more work.
Well, I, for one, knew it was a party the whole time.
Yeah, right, dude.
I did.
Then why were you crying?
It was cold in there. I've got sensitive corneas. I told you.
I challenge you all to a duel. Pick your weapons. I pick the mind.
Get out of here, Q! No, we are done with random stuff today. We're not dealing with any of your Q bullshit.
Oh, s'il vous plaît, Mariner. I want to put humanity to the ultimate test.
I'm not French. No, go find Picard.
Oh, Picard. He's no fun. He's always quoting Shakespeare. He's always making wine.
All right, buccos, prepare for your trek amongst the stars. Oh, before I forget, let's rock and roll.
I think we're supposed to stay seated!
First stage separation complete. Let's bring what I like to call the Warp Core online.
Sorry, Mr. Cochran.
Red alert! A Packland party and I wasn't invited?
It's about time you showed up, Will.
Mariner, this makes us even.
You know Riker?
Yeah, who do you think hooks me up with all my contraband? Dude is flush with Romulan ale, elite...
I'm sorry, what was that?
We're still at red alert. Target those ships and fire.
We're talking about this later. Captain Kirk?
Oh my, no. It's Captain Sulu.
Oh my gosh, Captain Sulu. Even better. Sorry about that. The mailbox said...
I took this place off Kirk's hands. He had to go and time travel, or who knows what. The man could never relax.
What is this place?
Pretty nice spread, right? There's even a hot tub in the back.
What do you think of Lower Decks?
Well,
I'm going to stop you right there. Moving on.
In the realm of full disclosure, this intro sequence,
yes,
like you said, was very well drawn.
Very well drawn.
Entertaining. Gives you the format.
Yep.
And it happens to be the longest sequence of Lower Decks I have ever seen. I have not actually seen this show, but and there's a reason for that, kind of like what you were alluding to. I am about to send a good chunk of your viewers away.
Okay.
All right.
Be prepared.
I don't actually like Simpsons.
That's okay. I'm on board with you.
All right. I know they've been on for 30 plus years.
At least.
And it's not that I don't like them, because I've seen a few episodes, and it is funny at times. But it's not the sort of thing that I want to see even every week, let alone every day.
Right.
The similar type shows, like you were saying, the Rick and Morty's, the
Family Guy,
Drawn Together, American Dad, Futurama.
Yep.
Okay, all of those, their artistic style, or let me turn that around. The humor tends to be a little bit more, as you said, raunchy, blue,
crude,
cutting edge, crude,
yep.
And they all seem to share a similar animation style, whether that's deliberate or accidental, whatever.
Yeah.
When I heard about Lower Decks and saw that it had that kind of general class of animation style, I'm like, why would I want to see this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But that being said, and we're going to get to Strange New Worlds shortly.
Yes.
The Strange New Worlds crossover.
Yes.
Gave me enough of it. It's like, okay, it had the animation side, it had some live action side.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this is enough that I'm willing to give the show a chance, willing to let it win me over.
Hi, I'm
Captain Christopher Pike.
That's me.
Computer and program? Never mind. Sorry. The portal. Oh my God, so that means I'm hello. That means I'm really on the
USS Enterprise, yes.
And okay, so what's the start date then?
2291.6.
Ah, yes, 5 digits. Totally normal date to be living in.
We already know you're from the future, so no need to do whatever it was you're trying to do.
Okay, thank God, because I'm seriously freaking out right now. I mean, I can't believe that I'm here.
Exactly how far in the future do you hail from, Anson?
Maybe 120 years, give or take.
Well, you don't look a day over 100.
What funny, Captain, what's happening?
You should hold on to this. Don't want you accidentally affecting the timeline before we get the chance to send you home.
This is my number 1, Lieutenant Commander Unachin Riley.
Nice to meet you.
And this is Lon Noonien Singh, our head of security.
If you'll follow me, Ensign.
That was weird. You don't think he knows something about my future, do you?
No, I'm sure he's just,
When we shouted surprise, you didn't seem very surprised.
Come on, number 1, I knew. That's why I canceled my fishing trip. Someone reminded me that maybe I should celebrate with my friends.
Okay, next month for movie night, I'm programming an Endorian comedy.
Turns out the secret to getting her to relax is making it feel like work.
I believe you are going to be her next project, Lieutenant.
God help me.
What exactly have we been drinking for the last hour?
Orion Hurricanes. Karas gave us a bottle of real Orion Delac, so they're genuine.
Interesting flavor.
Does anyone else feel strange? Why does everything feel so two-dimensional?
My arms don't normally do this.
My eyes feel huge. Do my eyes look huge?
What the hell is in these things?
And again, to be fair, there's an old saying that went back to the, oh, that's what it was. I've told you before, I have a vinyl album, yes, that old.
What's it? Yeah.
A vinyl album of Star Trek comedy
Yes.
routines.
Yes.
And one of the reviews on the back says, "This will never sell. Star Trek fans have no sense of humor." And because this is our beloved franchise, and if you're going to do this, if you're going to poke fun at our franchise, you'd better be a really good comedian.
Yes.
The last time I begrudgingly had to laugh was when Star Trek IV, the one with the whales,
Thank you.
was in first release at the theaters.
Okay.
I went with some friends and my girlfriend at the time, who was definitely not a Star Trek fan. The probe comes up on the screen for the first time, and almost immediately she says, "They're being menaced by a giant brown and surf sausage." And it was one of those, oh, I'm sorry, that was funny. I'm sorry, that was funny. And I'm hoping Lower Decks is the same thing, where Star Trek fans who love Star Trek and don't want Star Trek comedy will look at it and go, I'm sorry, that was funny.
I mean, you know, the premise is, like I've always said, really good. I say the same thing about Deadpool. The idea of Deadpool is great, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, you got to come see the new one with Wolverine there." And I said, "Sure, show me the not swearing, unsexualized version, and I'm there." But it's there are some funny bits, and I like how they do bring back old characters and stuff like that. But like I came across a clip of it recently where I don't want to see a Vulcan, full 100% Vulcan,
full Monty,
saying the F word.
Yes.
I don't want to see that. And like I said, although every swear is bleeped, the impression is there, and I say no.
I think part of it, and this is going to be a bit egotistical and elitist, part of what the hardcore fans have always liked about Star Trek is that it was smart.
Yes.
It like I said, it had to play a little bit fast and loose with physics sometimes, but whenever it could, it tried to give you a good physics-based reason for what they were doing.
Yes.
The humor in the original series and Next Gen arose out of the situations. Even the trouble with Tribbles, yes, it was funny, it was a comedy, but the humor arose out of the situation.
Of course, yeah.
And as a rule, people who like that more cerebral type of comedy just aren't going to be going for the pratfalls and the easy jokes and basically an Andrew Dice Clay routine.
Yeah.
Google him. I know he hasn't had a career, sorry Andrew, since what, the 90s,
At least,
the 2000s. Yeah. But that being said, not having seen it, I would hope that there's a mix of the physical comedy, the pratfalls. To belie everything I just said, I love Three Stooges.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But, like you said, they don't swear. I'm hoping that they're trying to put in a little something for everyone, to cast a wide net, bring in a large audience.
I mean, I'll say this. I don't think I've seen as many Star Trek characters in their underwear since Enterprise.
He's getting flattened. We need to make a tether. Got it.
anti-grav boy.
You did not have the Mego figures back in the 70s?
I know what you mean,
Yes.
yes. But the other thing is that not only do they bring old cast members back, but because this is the first animated Star Trek since the official animated series, they bring back bits and pieces from the animated series. Like they'll show a picture of Kirk and Spock as they appeared in that. And there was an episode with a cat species, the Kzinti.
Yep.
I think the doctor on the ship is a Kzinti. And they bring those types of things back. And so I love those ideas. That's brilliant. But they really got to work on their delivery.
And then I would say that perhaps for you, putting on my Sigmund Freud hat here, Google him, that perhaps part of your problem with the show is that they're showing you that they can do better comedy, that they don't need to do, the easy laugh, and yet they're doing it anyway.
They are doing it anyway. So the bottom line is that if you want to check out Lower Decks, do it at your own risk. It's
child safety warning.
Child safety warning, indeed. I never thought you had to say that with Star Trek, but I'd like to think that Roddenberry, with all the flaws he had, is rolling in his grave.
But the question is, rolling in his grave in disgust or in laughter? Because he had a sense of humor.
That's true. That's true. I think Rick Berman is probably sitting in some house saying like, I'm not with them.
Yes.
And yes, from what you said, completely off topic, the comedy album, yes, Banned from Argo, very funny song, love that. And if I may be the apologist with one thing, the original Fox 5-season run of Futurama, I liked that. After they switched to cable channels, you lost me. But yes, Star Trek Lower Decks, check it out. It's just not going to be exactly what you thought when you hear animated Star Trek. If you want animated Star Trek, check out the 70s, honestly. I mean, with all its flaws.